This is a Wellie Wisher doll, and I've had a few requests to make patterns for this particular doll. She is an American Girl doll, but she is smaller. She's 14.5 inches long. The American Girl doll is 18 inches long. I have two other dolls that are 14.5 inches tall. One is the Heart for Heart doll, and the other one is a doll that I purchased at Walmart. The Heart for Heart doll has a beautiful face and luxurious hair. And I've put the clothing on the Heart for Heart doll that I just took off of the Wellie Wisher, and it fits about the same. The Heart for Heart is just a fraction of an inch smaller. And she is about half the price of the Wellie Wisher. The third doll is, I think it's a Chelsea doll. And she is similar in size. Her torso is a little bit shorter, and obviously her head is much bigger, and her feet are a different size. And I paid around $20 for her. I put the same clothing on the Chelsea doll, and the pants fit pretty snug. The shirt fits nicely. If you've watched many of my videos, you've seen me make this top, this basic top, many times, and it can be adapted to make many other outfits. You also know that I sew before I cut. I'm going to sew under the arms and down the side seam. If you have my pattern, you sew exactly on the pencil line, and then leave about 1/4 of an inch when you cut, and then you cut everywhere else exactly on the pencil line. Clip under the arm at the corner so that your garment will lie flat. Cut up the middle of the top so that you can open up the back. My favorite way to decorate a Wellie Wisher shirt is to cut a square or rectangle directly from your fabric and use as an applique. Use your pinking shears, and I'm just going to glue that on, and then I will hand sew around it. Because the Wellie Wisher clothing is a lot smaller, I do a lot more hand stitching than I do with the 18-inch doll. I'm using embroidery floss, and it has 6 strands. I'm only going to use 3 strands to sew my applique onto the top. And beginners, do not worry too much about what your stitches look like. You can make them small or large. It doesn't have to be even. I'm using the running stitch, which is just an in and out, up and down stitch. Be careful not to pull the thread too tightly. It'll look like that. And the stitches in the back are the wrong side of the applique. I'm cutting off about 2 inches of the thread, and you will just tie it off with a basic knot. If you're a beginner and you've made this shirt out of t-shirt fabric, you can just leave it as is. You can even pin it in the back. If you want to use Velcro, you can. I've got several videos on how to place a Velcro tab in the back of the garments. You can leave it unhemmed. It will not fray if you're using the t-shirt fabric again. But if you are going to hem it, you'll just use that same running stitch. You can hem the sleeves if you prefer, and I have several videos on how to put a binding at the neckline. I'm using a woven fabric for the shorts, just a basic cotton, and I've chosen white so that you can see more clearly how I sew the shorts. Again, sew before you cut. So exactly on the pencil line, cut about less than 1/4 of an inch off, and then cut exactly on the pencil lines everywhere else. You see me clipping the curves so that it'll lie flat. Go ahead and press a hem while it's at this flat stage. And then I'm going to sew with my machine or by hand, making a top stitch. You're going to open it and sew the crotch of the shorts. Clip the curves. And I'm going to clip off my threads. Turn it to the right side. This would be a good time to try it on to see if it fits the doll. Always make a practice outfit to make sure it does fit. You will want to make sure all the edges, if you're using a woven fabric, all the edges have a clean finish. On smaller doll clothes, you can just use glue, especially if you're not planning on washing. You can also use fray check, or you can use a zigzag. The 18-inch doll is almost straight up and down, so you don't have to make any adjustments on the pattern. Now the Wellie Wisher has a very small waistline, and she's big in the hips. In order to pull the pants up onto the doll, you have to make an adjustment in the pattern. You could use elastic, but I'm going to show you a much easier adjustment. You see where I've folded over the back of the shorts. I'm going to sew on this type of snap, and I've got a closure video if you're not sure how to sew on the snaps. And if you want to, you can sew a little tiny button just as a decorative feature. And you only have to attach the snaps with maybe 2 or 3 hand stitches. And with these extra easy suggestions, you have a nice fit for your Wellie Wisher shorts and pants. And the pants pattern is included in the bundle. You see in this, when I made this top, I did hem it. And the pants are made the same way that you made the shorts. You can make capris out of the pants pattern. And I'm showing that you sew the curve, then you sew the inseam, and of course while it's flat you sew the hem. And I used pinking shears to finish the raw edges on the little jeans. I used the basic colors. I used yellow, red, and blue, the primary colors, to make the outfits a mix and match set. And I did include the leggings pattern, used white knit, and it is narrower. I used a recycled t-shirt. You can cut them to your desired length. And again, only use knit when you make the leggings pattern. And the great thing about using knit fabrics is you don't have to finish the edges. Now with the knit fabric, you don't have to put a snap in it. Just adjust the seam, make a little bit of a deeper seam, but make sure you can get the leggings on and off the doll. So here's how I've angled the seam line, and you can see where I made the seam a little bit deeper, and then I just cut off the excess. And again, you have to make sure that it's loose enough that you can get it on and off the doll's lower body. And that concludes the part 1 of the Wellie Wisher patterns. Part 2 is coming up.